Greetings YouTube, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 bringing you another review. This is Classics Prowl. Classics Prowl has a unique history for me in that he's one of the only Transformer toys that I didn't specifically go out and search for. I was at Comic-Con last year and I saw a booth that was selling some older Transformers toys you wouldn't be able to find in stores. Thing is that they were in Ziploc bags. One of them caught my eyes because it had an Activator's Grimlock and a mysterious white and red car. I purchased it thinking that it might have been Drift, but I was mistaken. I think I was thrown off by the spoiler. No, for instead of a Drift car with a kanji symbol on the side, I got a police car, which was included with instructions, fortunately, showing me that it was in fact a Prowl. Alright, so that's enough personal history. Since this was purchased secondhand, it's not exactly in 100% perfect condition. I mean, personally, I keep my toys in better shape than this if I can help it. There are a couple of panel lines that show, and you can tell where two different kinds of plastics were used because the hood has stayed a nice bright white, whilst the roof and the door panels, obviously made of a different plastic, got a little bit dull. Aside from that, it's not too bad. The paint has held up really good. There are no damaged or floppy parts anywhere. And he still has his weapon. You gotta respect when you find a second-hand purchase that doesn't lose a weapon this small. Alright. I'm not going to show the transformation on camera, but I will say that it is a complete pain in my butt. For the most part, it's a pretty simple and straightforward transformation. The problem is that these door panels. The instructions indicate that you have to pop these things off the sides, and they do pop out relatively simply. I'll do one. You just kind of pop the legs out, get them out of the way, and then you can get the instructions say you have to. There's an articulated joint on the inside of the figure here, which helps you get the doors up and away. The problem is that they are held in place by one of the weakest ball joints I've ever seen, and they pop off so easily. It is in principle possible to transform him without popping these things off, but they just do it so easily that half the time I say screw it and just pop them off and transform the figure without them and then pop them back on. But that really feels like cheating, because Transformers, you're not supposed to do that with them. Alright, so let's put him on in robot mode. Prowl's robot mode shows off some really nice bits of the Classics aesthetic. That is, of course, the aesthetic that tries its best to emulate the style of the G1 cartoon, but with modern day engineering. And I think he does a pretty good job. He has some really good shoulder movement. Like, these arms have just lots of great articulation. He has like this transformation hinge here, gives his shoulder a little bit of play, and then it's universal at this point. He has a bicep swivel, a wrist swivel, an elbow that goes just a little bit beyond 90 degrees. It's actually a really good arm. It's about the right length. Although I guess when you compare the huge shin armor, it does look a little bit skinny, but that just might be me. He also has great ankle articulation. He has ankle rockers that allow for wide-legged stances, because I know wide-legged stances are very, very desirable on Transformers. I'm having a hard time getting him to stand on my stove because it's such a smooth surface, but this guy actually can stand quite well. He has a pretty good length heel spur on his foot, which my finger is covering up there. So he actually can stand like a champion. He also has a knee swivel, He has ball jointed hips. He has a waist joint, which is something that is not all that common. I think barely half of Transformers, even ones produced today, have a functioning waist joint. I know my Megatron doesn't have a waist joint. I know Robots in Disguise RC doesn't have a waist joint. I know a lot of new Transformers that don't have waist joints, yet he does. So, good on him. Good on him. He has his little gun in this mode. It does fold in half, but really that's mostly for storage because it's out. He has these things on his shoulders. They are articulated so that they can get out of the way and he can still look at you. His face sculpt. I really do like his face sculpt. Let's zoom in on that handsome face. As soon as I'm sure that he's not going to tip over once I let go. You heard that, Prowl? Don't tip over when I let go. Alright, Prowl, look into the camera for me. Yeah, he has a really nice face. I hope it hasn't gotten too fuzzy here. It looks like really determined. He has a very stoic lip going on. He has a beautifully made nose. He looks really nice in profile. It's just a very face-like face. You know, it's like it looks almost human, but still fits with the Cybertronian look. And yes, it is designed to light pipe, which it does if you hold him up to a bright enough light source. Nice dark blue. And well, are there any negatives to the figure? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say yes, there is some negatives. First of all, I know that this is an homage, and they probably meant for it to be this way. I don't really like door wings, especially when they are on balls as weak as this. They get in the way, and they can actually pop off by accident when you're just posing him. So yeah, I mean, this is just a personal aesthetic thing. If you really want me to bring up quality issues, they do break off easily, and you'll find yourself having to constantly pop them back on. Also, he kind of has this big old gap. Yeah, you can just stick your finger right in there. You can get rid of the gap by lowering the door like this, but then he looks like he doesn't really have anything on behind him. I mean, not only do you make him kind of look a little fat, it kind of throws the symmetry off. So yeah, like it's actually better. It makes him look a little beefier and stronger when that's up there. But then you have a big hollow space, which looks kind of silly. See, Prowl does have a double jointed knee, so you can get some nice down on a knee pose, and he does look pretty intense that way. And I know this was one of my favorite poses to put him in. Looked very deterministic and very, very good. I don't know. I do like this figure. There's nothing wrong with this figure. He's very nice. In fact, I probably would be honored to have him as part of my collection if I didn't have this guy first. The animated Prowl he's only the second Transformer that I ever got right after my Optimus Prime, and well, I know a lot of people are going to have personal aesthetic choices, like some people have a problem with the way that Transformers animated looks. They're going to make fun of his gigantic chin. They're gonna rag on the fact that he's a motorcycle instead of a police car, and that his color scheme is black and gold instead of white and black like a police car should be. But I just really love Prowl. Animated Prowl is one of the greatest Transformers of his time. I mean, aside from the windshield and the wheels and the legs, there's no kibble on this guy anywhere. He is all robot all the way around. Even his handlebars fold in. I mean, Not even RC from Transformers Prime folds in her handlebars. So that's just really, really nice. So, I don't know, probably because I had this guy first, it colored my perceptions of what Prowl is supposed to be like. But, you know, even though he's not my personal taste, he's still a very splendid figure. I mean, you can hardly ever go wrong in the Transformers Classics universe, generation, whatever else they decide to call that line. So I would recommend him if you're a big Classics fan, or if you love the character Prowl. I know he's a very nice, accurate representation of what Prowl should look like. I've seen comics with this version of Prowl, and I'm like, wow, that's really toy accurate. So, yeah, not animated, Classics Prowl. Wakeangel 2001 approved. Mildly. Okay, I am now signing off.